Welcome to the deep dive. You probably have a sense of the Bible, right? But today we're really peeling back the layers. We want to look into this ancient text and uncover why it's still so profoundly relevant. Even if, you're not approaching it from a strictly religious perspective, our source material is this comprehensive review that explores its impact from, well, pretty much every angle. So our mission for you today is simple. Let's extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights, and hopefully help you understand why this monumental work continues to shape so much of our world.
That's a great way to put it, because it really isn't just one book, is it? It's this vast collection, almost like a library, really, capturing so much human thought and experience. And we're going to explore what makes it so uniquely influential across history, culture, individual lives, way beyond just traditional religious contexts.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. Drawing from our review, what exactly is the Bible? It's always emphasized as one of the most influential, most widely read texts ever, revered as Holy Scripture in Christianity. And it's got those two main sections, right? The Old Testament.
Which is also foundational for Judaism, of course.
Right, containing historical records, laws, poetry, prophecy, a real mix.
A huge mix.
And then the New Testament, which focuses more on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, his death, resurrection, and the early Christian church.
Exactly. And when we talk about vast, you have to appreciate the scale. We're talking about like 66 books in the Protestant version, even more in Catholic and Orthodox traditions, written by over 40 different authors.
40 authors.
Yeah, estimated across this incredible time frame, maybe stretching from 1400 BCE all the way up to around 100 CE.
Wow, it's almost 1,500 years.
It's staggering, isn't it? So it's definitely not a single book written at one time. It's more like a cross-generational literary project, a library, like I said, reflecting millennia of human thought. And inside that library, you find this breathtaking diversity of styles. You've got historical narrative, deep poetry, detailed legal codes, parables, allegory, even these vivid apocalyptic visions. It's all in there.
That's what's so remarkable, isn't it? How one collection holds such a spectrum. I mean, everything from really personal poetry to like grand historical sagas. How did these different styles really, come alive in the text?
Oh, they absolutely do. The literary brilliance is, well, it's undeniable. You feel it in the Psalms, for example. Such raw lyrical poetry capturing every human emotion imaginable: joy, despair, anger, praise. Then you have the wisdom of Proverbs. Very practical, almost like ancient guidance for daily living.
Like self-help almost.
Kind of, yeah. And then there's the intense drama of Job. It grapples with suffering and faith in a way that still feels incredibly raw and relevant. And of course, the Gospels. Compelling storytelling about the life of Jesus. And then something totally different, like the imagery in Revelation. Very vivid, symbolic, sometimes surreal visions of the future.
So it's not just ancient history. It's got this practical wisdom, this intense emotional drama, stuff that feels very human, even now. Like, you could be struggling with something today and find a parallel in Job or solace in the Psalms.
Precisely. And that's really just scratching the surface. What's also fascinating is the use of symbolism and metaphor. It's incredibly rich, especially in books like Isaiah or John or Revelation. Makes for very deep reading. And the character development is another thing. We see figures like Moses or David or Paul. They're portrayed as, flawed people, relatable, but also often heroic in their own ways.
Real people, not just symbols.
Exactly. And then, of course, the central figure of Jesus Christ, whose character is presented with just extraordinary depth and impact. And all these literary elements, they work together to convey these really profound core themes that speak to the core human experience,
Like what kind of themes?
Well, there's the whole overarching theme of God's relationship with humanity, that journey from creation through covenants towards salvation. Then, especially in the New Testament, there's a huge emphasis on faith, redemption, and grace. You also have this central conflict playing out constantly, good versus evil, on spiritual levels, moral levels, even thinking about the end times, what they call eschatology.
Right.
And then there's justice and mercy, explored through ancient laws, yes, but also through the prophets calling for change, and ultimately through Jesus' teachings. And woven through it all, these enduring themes of hope and prophecy, looking forward, from ancient promises to this vision of a renewed world.
It's incredible how these ancient texts, using poetry and story and symbol, managed to carry such huge ideas across thousands of years. But, okay, beyond inspiring thought, how did this text actually shape things? Our culture, our languages, history itself? Its footprint feels Massive.
Oh, absolutely massive. Forget just the religious side for a moment. Its historical and cultural value is immense. It gives us this unique window into the ancient world. The cultures, laws, politics, philosophies of Mesopotamia, Israel, Rome, Greece.
A historical source in itself.
Definitely. And the language influence, it's astonishing. So many common idioms in English and other languages too come straight from the Bible.
Like what? Give us an example.
Sure, think about by the skin of your teeth, or calling something difficult a thorn in the side.
Huh. I never knew those were biblical.
Right, we use them all the time. And that's just scratching the surface. Then there's the inspiration for Western art and music. It's just staggering. Think of countless paintings, sculptures. Think of Handel's Messiah, directly inspired by biblical narratives and themes. It's foundational.
Okay, so language, art, history. What about the direct spiritual impact?
Well, that's obviously huge too. Millions, probably billions over time, turn to it for moral guidance, for comfort, for prayer, spiritual growth. The stories inside about redemption, about mercy, they've genuinely transformed lives, and they've been a powerful motivator for humanitarian work for centuries. But, and this is important, it's also complex, because while it absolutely unites billions in faith, its interpretations have also, unfortunately, led to deep theological divisions, and sometimes, historically, even fueled conflict. So there's a duality there.
That tension is really key, isn't it, between unity and division? It shows just how complex this text is. So we need to talk about the criticisms, too, the controversies, to get the full picture. What are some of the main debates or challenges people raise about the Bible?
Yeah, and it's important we approach these impartially, just reporting what the critiques are. One big area is historical accuracy. There's ongoing debate. Some archaeological finds seem to line up with biblical accounts, but others contradict them, or the evidence is just inconclusive. So scholars actively discuss and debate this. Another really contentious area is violence and ethics. Critics point to certain episodes, divine wrath, warfare, social norms, described in parts of the text that seem really harsh or outdated by modern ethical standards.
Right, things that are hard to read today.
Exactly. And then there are the interpretive challenges, things like perceived contradictions between different accounts within the text itself, or moral instructions that seem to evolve over time. These lead to different theological positions, different interpretations, and ongoing debate.
Okay, so knowing all of this, the literary depth, the incredible cultural influence, but also these debates and complexities, what does this all mean for someone listening who maybe isn't religious? Or who's approaching this just out of curiosity or, academic interest? Given everything we've discussed, why should you consider engaging with the Bible even if you're not coming from a place of faith?
That's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think it's crucial because, honestly, regardless of your personal beliefs, its foundational role in Western civilization is just undeniable. Our politics, our legal systems, so many of our ethical frameworks, vast amounts of our literature, they are deeply, deeply rooted in biblical ideas, stories, and concepts.
You can't really understand the West without it.
It's very difficult to fully grasp the roots, yeah. And beyond that, just reading it offers this incredible capacity for philosophical and moral reflection. It pushes you to think deeply about universal human questions, life, suffering, justice, meaning, purpose. It's also had this profound influence on global movements. You see its themes invoked in the civil rights struggle, in peace efforts, inspiring social change for centuries. Our source material actually gives it a 5-star rating, calling it a literary and spiritual classic. It highlights the strengths, the spiritual depth, the literary brilliance, the historical scope, while also acknowledging, yes, it needs contextual understanding. Some parts are dense, they can be difficult, but its enduring impact, it's undeniable. It earns that classic status for very good reasons.
So it's clear the Bible is just so much more than a religious text, isn't it? It's this deep well of literary value, historical insight, a text that still sparks debate, inspires art, shapes our language in ways we often don't even notice. It really does sound like it's for everyone, whether you're religious or not, if you're interested in philosophy or history or just great literature.
Absolutely. And maybe to wrap up, I can borrow a thought directly from our source material's conclusion. It says something like, the Bible is more than a book. It's a library of wisdom and a mirror of the human soul. And that whether you read it devotionally or historically or analytically, it challenges you. It challenges you to grapple with the deepest questions of life, death, and ultimately what it means to be human. Hopefully this deep dive encourages you, the listener, to maybe consider engaging with this monumental text yourself in whatever way feels right for you.